What do we study here?
The way of the Flerf, sir!
And what is that way?
Time fast, jet shit, no mercy, sir!
I can't hear you.
Time fast, jet shit, no mercy, sir!
Flerfspective. Flerfspective. Flerfspective.
And if you would, please like, comment and subscribe.
So here we are again. My name's Ranty. I used to be a flat earther, but now I am just a recovering flat earther.
So I was speaking to Del earlier from the Beyond the Imaginary Curve channel, and we were talking about the Richard Branson space flight, when he asked me, where is the curvature, mate?
There's a curvature, mate. What's happened to the curvature of the Earth here? What's going on? 50 miles up?
So I said, just look at the image you are showing. After about 5 seconds, I asked him what he thought about it, and he said,
I want to be on your spacecraft.
Now, I'm not too sure if it's just as easy as wanting to go on a spacecraft, Del, but I do get the feeling you're now becoming an ex-Flerf, which is great. The Flerf armour remover, it's in the post. On a more serious note, this is a channel called Level Earth Observer, and I want to point out a few things. First, he is a very active uploader, as you can see, and he talks about all kinds of nonsense. He really does have very little grasp on physics, as can be evidenced when you just watch any of his videos. But the main reason for highlighting him today is because he is unwilling to leave his echo chamber and have a debate, even when there is £2,500 waiting in a pot to go to a charity the moment he debates Mr. Sensible. Yep, this lowlife is defunding a chosen charity of this very large amount of money that I am sure could be put to great use and help people that are in desperate need. Can you believe that? Here we have a guy who has almost 4,000 subscribers, who is posting every day making all kinds of wild claims. But when asked for a debate on his claims, he runs away like a yellow-belly coward.
Hello. Recently, I challenged Adam, Level Earth Observer, to a debate. It should be easy for him to win because, after all, he says he has demonstrable reality on his side. To sweeten the deal, I offered £100 to a registered charity of his choice if he went in and debated me. Additionally, other members of the community, fine members, stepped up to the plate and made additional pledges. So Adam, if you debate me on a neutral, moderated channel, you will now earn £2,500 approximately for the favourite registered charity of your choice.
This is typical behaviour on the flat earth though. People want to save face rather than expose the truth. Nathan Oakley is another who quite literally hides behind his mute button. Now, my last interaction with him was when I said, without the so-called mute button, that won't happen here. Let me say that again. Without the so-called mute button, that won't happen here. Now, that was on one of my live streams.
However, in this format, if you want to just do a one-on-one without the so-called mute button that you guys claim is always in effect, you know that isn't going to happen here. I won't mute you unless obviously it's getting incredibly out of hand.
What transpired after was a tirade of abuse on Skype from Nathan to me, culminating with him threatening to sell my ass down the river in a heartbeat. Suffice to say, him and his clown show followers tried to make good on this threat. They failed. And here I am, debating Flerfs, and not needing the mute button to hide behind. But anyway, please let Level Earth Observer know, for the 100th time now, it is time to man up and debate Mr. Sensible. The link is in the description. I also want to thank all the people who have supported me on Patreon. It really does mean the world to me, and it allows me to carry on making these videos and exposing this Flerf nonsense. So thank you to every single person who has gone over to Patreon and supported me there. I also want to thank the new channel members as well. most of whom adopted a Flerf. It was a very gracious thing he did there, and I am going to share some of the new emojis with you so that you can use these going forward. And as I get new members, I can clearly add more, so enjoy. So after the early success of the Adopt a Flerf membership program, I am now going to do a quick video that's going to show you how to take care of your Flerf. So what better way to advise you guys on how to look after your Flerf than with a bit of Flerf kitchen science. Now, coming from the Flerf community myself, I'm able to look inwardly and think to myself, what things might trigger a Flerf? Now, you might not think that these things right here are scary in any way, but to a Flerf, especially a Flerf that's being looked after by a Glober, these things could set off some serious PTSD. Now then, let me show you some things to avoid. You must, at all points, avoid things like this. Now this is a circular bowl, and with it being circular, it could let them be reminded of the pizza world. The same with this plate here. This plate looks harmless enough to most people, but to a Flerf, this could trigger their belief in the flat pizza world. It's my suggestion, therefore, that where possible, you get something more square-shaped, a bit like this. Also, you may come downstairs sometimes, and if you find that you've had a tin taken out of the cupboard and another jar or something slightly taller than that taken out of the cupboard too, and just randomly placed on a table or the work surface in the kitchen, you may think that it means nothing. But what that's telling me is that most likely during the night, the Flerf has come down after having probably a very bad sleep and instinctively made his way to the kitchen, grabbed a couple of these, and will just start to move them around on the table, like so. Now, that can be very indicative that they are missing the flat earth, they're missing the research. So you need to be aware of that, and I would suggest perhaps putting some locks on your doors just to make sure that they don't have easy access to things like this. Now, if you have a Nathan Oakley model, you must really be careful about this. This is probably the most dangerous of everything here, especially for an Oakley model, because what you will find is that during the night, more than likely, if they can get their hands on one of these, they may do something like this. And the next thing you know, you're being muted. You don't want that to happen. Trust me, it's not a good feeling, especially when you can't express yourself. Now then, if you've got a flatzoid model, things like this can trigger serious PTSD. You see, in a recent video of mine, I was able to demonstrate where eye level would be using the spaghetti. And it was quite clear to me, and because his channel's gone quiet recently, that I may have got through to him. So if you have got a model that's a flatzoid model, you must be aware not to let them see any of this. In fact, don't even let them see any of this either, because this was the water. If you remember, I put the water down here and he said that the water was occulting the wind turbines. And when I demonstrated that that wasn't possible too, it's quite possible that some rice may trigger him too. So please, if you're Italian or you're wanting to cook an Italian meal, don't do it for flatzoids, because they won't like it and they are likely to get triggered. Now then, here we have a couple of things. Yeah, easy enough. Doesn't look looks harmless enough, right? Yeah, harmless. But this might not be as harmless as it looks firsthand. See, they could be doing this and pretending that they're looking for curvature. Now then, on its own, that might not be the worst, but if you find an orange sweet and it's in close proximity to this, then it's possible that they could be experimenting with something called the Pac-Man model, where the sun seems to go in the model and it comes all the way out the other end, like so, and then it goes back on itself again, like so. So they could be experimenting with that. Now you definitely don't want that. The Pac-Man model is, it's out there, trust me. What else do we have? Probably the second most dangerous, I would think, water or liquid or anything like that. Now you mustn't feed them liquid, especially after midnight. If you feed them after midnight with water, they are likely to turn gremlin. You've seen gremlins, I'm sure, and they will likely turn into a gremlin. So don't provide them with this, because what they'll likely do is they'll start doing things like this. And they'll be pouring the liquids into bowls like so, and just stirring them and things like that. It's very disturbing, I have to say. So please avoid at all costs giving them any kind of liquid after midnight. From 9 o'clock in the morning, it's fine. It's just nighttime, it's quite dangerous. And, oh yes, can't forget these. Now, sometimes you may come down and you may see things like this, knife and fork, and you think, now I think a knife is dangerous and a fork is dangerous, and I would definitely agree with that. And perhaps don't let the Flerf anywhere near these, especially if you see things like this. So if you start seeing things like so and things like so, and they start building things with knives and forks and things like this, and they try to stand them up, I mean, that can just be indicative of, some kind of mental gymnastics that they're trying to work out with elevations and things like this. So please, again, avoid them having knives and forks. In fact, perhaps just feed them with a square bowl and just let them use their hands for eating, because, knife and fork can be dangerous. So I hope that's just a quick indication of what you should avoid doing and things to look out for when you're looking after your Flerf. Me personally, this is what I've just come up with for now. I'm sure there may be other things down the line that I will want to talk about and advise you on, maybe taking care of them better, etc., etc. But remember, a Flerf, it's not just for 1 month. A Flerf is for life. So you must make sure that you're doing everything in their best interest to look after them well. A quick note about Flatzoid. It seems his channel has fallen silent, and it is quite possible that we have finally gotten through to him. And to be honest, I wouldn't have thought any less. He was indeed the latest mover and shaker in the Flerf community, but it was also clear that he was one of the smartest, most intelligent of the crop. This was confirmed when he accidentally let slip what his Mensa IQ score was, a respectable 128. So with brains like that, it is likely no surprise that he has packed up shop and come back to the globe. That's if we will have him back. Anyway, that's all we've got time for today. I'll see you all in the next one.